Hi friends, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Schoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory and home of the Passamaquoddy, and I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a simple stamping project for you that does not take a lot of complicated supplies, and there's only one tiny piece of die cutting on it as well. And I don't know about you, but I find at this time of year, I'm extremely busy. I don't have a lot of time. And so I like a project like this that's really quite quick to put together and quite easy as well. So if you're joining me today, please do say hi in the comments and let me know if you like simple projects as well. It'd be really helpful for me to know for future videos as well. Oh, hi, Kathy. It's nice to have you with me today. All right, so let's have a look at the project and we'll get right to it after I share a few little tidbits of news, and we'll get right to it within a couple of minutes. Okay, so let's switch our view down here. Okay, so there's our project again. So you can see it's got a bit of shine, a bit of bling on it, and we'll get right to that. I've just got a few little things to share with you first. I have some in-person events coming up for the holiday season. Now this one is on Saturday. It's a card and cuppa event here in St. Stephen at Something's Brewing Cafe. So I'm working together with Something's Brewing to offer this event. And I invite you to come along. It's $5 to make a card, so it'd just be a few minutes to do. You don't have to have any experience to do it. And you can select and pay for whatever you want from the cafe menu. So it's just a nice little interlude in the middle of a very busy time of year. All right. I've also got a card making class happening here in St. Stephen where we're going to make 4 simple cards. That's on Wednesday, the 27th of December. And it's $25 for the class, or free with an order, minimum $30 before tax and shipping. And it's sign up by the 17th of December. And in order to find out more about that class and to sign up, just click through on the link that's right here in the post, and the information is there. Or you can go to my website, which is www.juliescraftaddict.com, and look under classes, in-person and online classes. And I have one more in-person class coming up on Campobello Island. And like the one in St. Stephen, it's 4 simple cards. This one's going to be on Saturday, the 6th of January. And again, $25 for the class, or free with an order that's minimum $30 before tax and shipping. And sign up by the 17th of December. And again, just click through on the link that's right here in the post. It'll take you to my website and all the information's there. Or you can go on your own to www.juliescraftaddict.com. And if you're looking for online classes, I do regularly offer them every month as well. And in the next week or so, I'm going to be rolling out the next online classes, just as soon as I have a little time to put them together and put them up online. Okay, so here is our project we're going to be doing today. So the first thing I always like to do is the stamping, because I find that otherwise the ink can get on your project or on yourself or on your clothes, and I like to get the ink out of the way first thing if I can. But before we can do the ink, we actually have to use the die cut machine to cut out this little label. So I'm going to use my little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. It's super easy if you've never seen one. You just pull down the plates, and then the instructions are right on the plates themselves. So this one, you can see I've used it a lot, and some of this stuff is actually rubbed off. They do send written instructions separately as well, so you don't have to worry if your instructions rub off. So we want plate number 1, which is this. We need 2 plates number 2, and we'll sandwich in between those 2s our die, which is face down, with the cutting surface down, and our paper. So here's plate number 1. We're going to get a plate number 2, which is also very well used and loved, but it still works just great. And then we're going to layer onto them a scrap of very vanilla cardstock. So here's a tag I cut out one time and didn't really need it. And so we're just going to put the die right on top of that. And the dies that we're using today are Something Fancy. That's the name of them. And here's all the different things you get. So nested dies. So you can have some outlines in a different color from the label itself just to make it more decorative. You could layer this one on. You've got a hexagon in here, and then you've got some floral and greenery elements. So today we're just going to go very simple with this. No fuss at all. We're going to take the small one out of this nested set, and we're just going to cut that directly. Okay, so we're going to put it with the cutting side down. So it's smooth on one side, and you can see it's got a ridge on the other that's not sharp. And then you just put it on there. And how the machine cuts is when you crank it through with your hand, the pressure of the rollers inside and the plates working together actually will cut through the paper. So it's a very simple technology. I like it because I understand it, and there's not a heck of a lot that will go wrong with it. It's really simple to use. It's also a really small machine. It's very light, very easy to take with you. If you want to take it to a crop or to a class or to the cottage, which I often do, then it's really simple to take along. So here is our easy to cut little label, and that's all the die cutting we need to do. So now let's go ahead and stamp, and this Merry Christmas stamp is from the Stars at Night stamp set, which is retiring soon. So if you do want it, get it as soon as you can, because once it is out of stock, it is gone for good, and they will not be restocking it. So there's all kinds of nice stars in there, and we're going to be using this font, nice font on Merry Christmas here. As you can see, I've used this for a number of projects, and some of them were red, so now the stamp is all red too. But it doesn't affect how it works at all, so we're just going to put that on there. And we're going to stamp it in Night of Navy. I like this Night of Navy for sentiments because it makes a very clear and dark image. And I find for sentiments, that's just what you want. So let's make sure I get enough ink on there. And since this is a photopolymer stamp, you need a cushion underneath your stamping. And I have a few pieces of paper underneath my grid paper here, stacked together. So that's my cushion, but you could use a piece of cardboard and that would do a really nice job for you as well. The red rubber stamps have a built-in foam cushion already, but these photopolymer ones don't. So you just need to put a little cushion underneath. So there's my nice little label. So that's all ready to go. Very nice and clear. Okay, so now we can actually start to assemble. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take this fancy paper and we're going to apply it to the panel underneath. And if you're looking for the various dimensions for these things, I have all the full instructions and the full supply list as well on my website. Just click through on the link that's right here in this post. Or if for some reason that doesn't show up, just go to www.juliescraftaddict.com and you can find the post there with all of the information. So we're going to be using a panel of Night of Navy. We're going to have this Wild Wheat, and then this paper, which is Shining Brightly. Now this is out of stock already because it's retiring, but you can just substitute whatever your favorite paper is. So it doesn't have to be this one. You could use like a gold. You could use Night of Navy and maybe emboss in gold some greenery behind it. You could do whatever you want, or you could just change all of the colors completely if you wanted to. That's the beauty of this design. It can be adapted really, really easily to different colors and any occasion. And I certainly like that kind of card because then you can reuse the design and you don't always have to come up with something brand new every single time. So this is the Stampin' Seal that I'm using just to stick this together. And some people just like to put the seal on the corners. I like to stick the whole thing down myself, but you can choose whatever is best for you. So we're just putting this all together to make our little decorative panel. And the next thing we're going to do is the ribbon. So this ribbon is a really nice one. I like this one. I have used it for a lot of things, not just at Christmas time or holidays, but lots of other times. So it is gold and vanilla satin edged ribbon. So that is satin, and then you've got that gold in the middle, and the background color of the satin is very vanilla. What we're going to do with it though is we're going to color it. because it can be colored very, very easily and nicely with the Stampin' Blends markers. So you can make it match any project that you want. So I'm going to use today this Dark Starry Sky, which is pretty close to how this Night of Navy comes out in our papers. So I'm just going to find a cardboard to put behind it because it does bleed through a lot. Okay, so here is a cardboard that we used at a class recently. You can see it's very well used, but that doesn't matter for the purpose we have here. So let's just estimate how much we're going to need. So what we're going to do is wrap it around and tie it on the front. So let's see if I did about that much. That would probably be enough. Let's see. So I will, rather than cut it, because I don't want to cause a lot of waste, I want to just do this right on the spool. So I'm just going to put a line there. Let's see if that's going to work. Is that going to be enough ribbon? Because I find that if I use my ribbon and make my bow or my knot or whatever it is I'm doing right on the spool, I actually use a lot less of it, and there's a lot less waste. So I like to do it that way if I can. All right, so let's just brush down the ribbon. So you really don't need to press hard, and you won't want to with the brush tip of these markers. If you press really hard, you'll kind of destroy the brush tip, and you don't want to do that. It'll squish it right down to a little nub. So I'm just brushing very, very lightly here, and just kind of on the side rather than straight down to preserve the tip of it so it can be used for all kinds of things. And we're just going to do this all the way to the end. And then we're going to leave it for a couple of minutes just to make sure that it dries for us. So the alcohol markers are kind of like a Sharpie because they don't come off readily. I mean, they will come off. So you see I've got that on my finger. That will come off, but it's not water-soluble ink because the base of it is alcohol, which evaporates. And that's why I used that kind of marker to do this. You can't really use your water-based markers because it won't work in the same way, but the alcohol markers will stay right there in the fabric for you. So that works really nicely. Now, while that's drying, I'm just going to move that out of the way to make sure it's completely dry. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take our Merry Christmas and we are going to stick that right onto our card. So I'm going to put it up kind of like that, and then there's lots of room to make our bow at the bottom. So I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to do that. I think 2 ought to do it. I like these little hexagons. They're great. I've been using them for a really long time, way before I was ever a demonstrator, because I find them so helpful. So let's just kind of arrange that. Where do we want that to be? Kind of like that. All right, and I think I'll put the embellishments on now as well and just give a little more time for that to dry. And I had my embellishments here. Now, where did I put them? What a good question that is. I wonder what I did with them. I had them. I took them out this morning. I know I did. Let me just go check for them just for a minute. Okay, embellishments. Where did you go? Where did you go? Has anybody ever had that happen to them? They got their whole project ready, and then part of it just goes missing right in the middle of making. I hope I'm not the only one that has that happen. I did have them out. They were the in-color dots. Let me check one more time. So I brought my whole stash of embellishments over, and we'll see what I can find. If I can't find those, then I will use something else that will do just fine. Okay, I think what I'll do is maybe use these, and they will look really nice too. So if you look for the instructions online, it will have a different set of embellishments, but that's okay. I will show you these ones. So here we go. I'm sure I will find the other embellishments just as soon as I finish my video today. That seems to be how it goes. So we're going to use these color, and these are the 2022 to 2024 in color pearls. Now, the ones I used here are the 2023 to 2025 in color dots, and they have a very nice shine. That's boho blue. And what I'm going to be using here is the Orchid Oasis. So those are also very, very nice. So I don't think it'll make any difference. It'll still look very pretty. And that just goes to show that on the fly, you can make substitutions that'll still work. So you don't have to have everything perfect all the time. So this is the Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to use the putty end. And here we go. I'm going to take one of these little embellishments and put it there. Oh, actually, I really like that color on there. That looks nice. Okay, well, maybe it was meant to be. There you go. You just never know. So we'll take those. And where did I want that one? Maybe there. Kind of to make a little triangle to draw your eyes across the card. So that looks pretty nice. Okay, and again, if you're looking for these later, it's 2022 to 2024 in color pearls. So these are really quite nice. They're very vibrant. They have a nice shine, almost iridescent, and they're really actually a very nice embellishment to use. Okay, so I will put my Take Your Pick tool away, and let's see if we can go ahead and test this ribbon now. I think it's pretty nice and dry. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to just wrap it around our card, and we're going to position it so that we're just going to tie here in the middle. That's all we're going to do. We're going to just make a little knot. And now I can go ahead and cut that. There we go. So we can move that out of the way. So let's tie this, and we'll just make a little knot. So nothing fancy, no bows. I know people love to hate bows. So we're just not going to even go there today. We're just going to make it so simple and relaxing so that we're not going to cause any stress with this. So now you can just kind of angle the ends as much as you like. Let's see, let's try to get them sort of even. And that looks pretty good. So very little waste by kind of trying out the ribbon in advance. So that is always a good idea, and you can get more out of your ribbon that way. So that looks pretty nice. So this one I didn't color, but I thought I'd show you on the video how easy it is and how dramatic a difference it makes actually. And also, please note too that this color is Night of Navy, this is Orchid Oasis, and that is Starry Sky, and yet they all look really good together and they work well together. So sometimes if you don't have the exact marker, you can make another one work. Like this one was Dark Starry Sky, and then I had those other embellishments instead of the boho blue ones that I'd used before. So there's lots of different possibilities that you can make work. All right, so let's move that over. And I've got a very vanilla card base here. So I'm going to use my bone folder. Very old. I've had this for, oh boy, probably 30 years now. I've had it a long time. Maybe not quite, maybe more like 28. But anyways, it's a really old one and it's lasted well. Not an expensive tool, but a good one. And now we just have to put this on the card. So we'll use some of these dimensionals again. I like to use them on the corners and then one in the middle because it tends to kind of bow down or sag in the middle, and I don't really like that effect. It's more dramatic, especially if you mail it from the pressure in the mail bags and the mail system. So it's always good to have one of these in the middle to keep it popped up for you. And then we can just position this on here. And that is the end of our card. So very, very simple, very quick, not too many steps. And I hope that you enjoyed this project today and that it will help inspire you to make cards during the holiday season, even when it's busy. So thanks again for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderfully crafty week. And if I can answer any of your questions, please let me know. I love to hear from you, and I'd love to know where you're watching from today. So bye for now.